Marques, how many years did you play in the NFL?
So I was fortunate and blessed enough to play 10 years, all with the New Orleans Saints.
Wow, that's pretty cool. 10 years?
10 years.
That's awesome, 10 years. All-time leading Saints receiver. Wow, give him a round of applause for that, guys. Super Bowl winner. Okay, we're not gonna take up your time. I like this. How do you stay disciplined, ultra healthy, and consistently outpace others?
Similar to Kyle's answer, it's about indexing to my standard. I don't necessarily pay attention to mediocrity. I don't pay attention to what's going on around me to the extent that I know that my standard, I try to operate at a standard that is above and beyond the status quo. And the realization that you do fall to the level of your preparation, when you can prepare at a level and a standard that is higher than most, even when you fall a little bit short, you're still able to create the kind of success that you're looking for.
I like that. What do you invest in? What business holdings do you focus your energy on?
So obviously being a partner in the fund with Kyle, we do the same thing. But he told you a little bit about the what. I'll tell you a little bit more about the why. Our fund is really based around access. So as former players ourselves, former front office people ourselves, you're creating the product, but you don't typically get access to opportunities to own the product. And when we looked across, our community of athletes and, the types of investment vehicles that we get access to is typically real estate or early stage investments. And, real estate is what it is. It's a great store of wealth. It's a great place to invest in something that's more secure. But what you also know is that the early stage investments, those are the riskiest asset class that there is. And when you have a group that has a earning potential or an average career that's less than 4 years, when you know that your income is probably going to get turned off within 4 years, but yet you're investing in early stage companies that have a 10-year time horizon, there's a misalignment from the jump. So we wanted to create this fund and this vehicle as a way to not just invest in these properties, but bring a different investor base to this ownership class. So we still work with family offices, we still work with institutions, but our interval fund structure will allow us to get access to investors that are in that retail class, which, as people that invest in sports in some form or fashion, whether it's for us up here on stage or with our bodies, but us as parents, we're investing in our kids in youth sports and club sports. We wanted to create an opportunity and a vehicle to create meaningful ownership in sports for every investor.
That's awesome. What visualization, affirmation, goal-setting rituals, and strategies have you used to be one of the top 0.1 percenters?
It's really the understanding that performance is fluid. And what I mean by that is, as an athlete that was fortunate enough to play 10 years, if my standard is here, every single season, the pathway to get there is different. Whether it be through injury, through something that may be going on scheme-wise, you figure out what the end game is and you reverse engineer your success. And as long as you understand that performance is fluid and it's going to take you a different pathway to get to the same goal, it allows you to kind of maneuver in a way that, people that have more of a static and fixed mindset, they can't compete with.
What's $1 million lesson you learned from being a pro athlete? Or in your case, multi-million-dollar lesson?
I would say alignment is everything. And it's not just alignment, it's alignment across the board. We live in an industry where, we get access to opportunities and wealth really early. And, we're in a lot of ways forced into a situation where we're hiring people around us and we're hiring people for jobs that we don't quite fully understand the full breadth of. So figuring out those places where you can align with people with values, align on personality and align on the end game, it takes you really knowing the direction that you want to head in. But if you're able to align with the right people, it gives you an opportunity to get comfortable with that person while you learn the different skill sets.
That's awesome. What's the most costly financial mistake you've made or see other pro athletes make?
I'll speak for myself. I didn't take my own advice. I didn't know it quite yet. So one of my earlier investments turned out on paper to be a great investment. The challenge was the vehicle that I got into was an SPV. And at the time, I didn't know a whole lot about SPVs, didn't know a whole lot about, the management fees and everything that comes along with running an SPV. So as a larger investor in a SPV that I didn't have control of, the company got to a place where it would have been a really opportune time to look at, an acquisition or a liquidity event, but not having control of my own capital being in the SPV. I ended up having to sit back and watch this company drive off a cliff. So when I talk about alignment is everything, it is really across the board. It's the people, it's the values, it's the vehicles that you're using. It's universal.
If someone who wants to be a top 1%er in their field, how do they outcompete everybody around them?
By focusing on your own standard. Be hyper focused on your destination that you want to get to, and be very aware of who you are at that moment in time, because that's always going to be your foundation and your starting point. And the more that you understand who you are, what your unique value proposition is, what unique skills and talents you bring to the table, it allows you to start to build the pieces around you that your performance becomes a function of who you are. And if your skill set and your talent is built on a unique person and a unique value proposition, then at the end of the day, what you bring to the table is always going to be unique.
You got anything else you want to drop? You got a lot of wisdom.
No, that's it. I'm normally the guy that brings the time back into alignment, so I'm good.
Guys, give Marques a round of applause.